What's up everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to some Fantasy Great League. Today I'm going to be showcasing my ELO reveal, and we're going to be using quite a funny Pokemon in this cup. I always thought this Pokemon was completely just a meme, and it wasn't very good. But if you look at the PvPoke rankings, I believe this is ranked pretty highly up there, it's like in the top 5. Alolan Dugtrio is surprisingly good in this cup, and I had a really good time with it for a couple of days. I got my ELO reveal, I'm sure some of you might have seen it in the last couple of days. Let me know in the comment section down below, have you got your ELO yet? Are you playing Ultra League, Fantasy Cup? And let me know what your plans are for next week. We have Master League and we have a Little Cup version of Smeargle ranked 1. I think next week I might try out a few different teams in Little Cup, but generally speaking, I may take the whole week off. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions on next week. But without any further ado, let's hop into the battles. Thank you very much for 6k, we hit 6k yesterday, big shout out, big thank you. And of course, if you do enjoy the video, drop a like, subscribe. Okay, so we have Dragapult versus Stunfisk. They rock slide me, I come in, go for the Wombo combo. One thing that I do want to mention with this team is you can easily change the order of these three Pokemon. What I've noticed recently is a lot of Sandslash in the lead, a lot of Flygon. I found that Azu lead has been very good for me and Dragapult's been better in the back. Of course, I put Dragapult in the back. I've started seeing Wigglytuff in the back and Grambles in the back now, which is pretty unfortunate, but if you're finding that you're seeing so many Sandslashes and things that you're having trouble beating, definitely consider swapping it out. The good thing about this team is, and I'm going to be showcasing a lot of it, you can beat Sandslash teams fairly comfortably at times. It's never comfortable, of course, getting a bad lead. In this particular matchup, what I decided to do is pause a turn and throw the player off. The opponent will probably do one and swap, right? That's kind of the whole plan, right? Throw a move on the Azu, one and swap into their own Azu, try to catch a move. I just decided on this occasion, I'm going to pause a turn for a move, because I know the opponent's going to do one. It's good timing, right? The opponent ends up Hydro Pumping me, and because I was able to throw the move on the opponent's Azu, I was basically able to misalign the clock a lot. They're an Ice Beam Hydro Pump, which I think is a very interesting moveset. They come into the Sandslash, and because we landed the Play Rough on them, we can go for Breaking Swipe. I can go for Breaking Swipe number 2. I should have went for it straight away. The opponent ends up throwing off an Ice Punch. I'm going to farm it the whole way down. Goodbye, Sandslash. And look at this, we're in a very decent position now. The opponent comes back into Azu. I bring in my own Azu, go for an Ice Beam for some reason. I probably should be going Play Rough here, to be completely honest, but the opponent is completely locked in. I do end up going for another Ice Beam, and hopefully at this point, the clocks will be coming back up again quite soon. The opponent ends up bringing in Excadrill, sorry. We come into this, go for the Shadow Ball. That's going to be GG's. So I'm sure some of you are saying I don't have a Dragapult. If you've got a Giratina, it probably works fine. Flygon probably works fine in place of this as well. If you don't have Azu or Dugtrio, you could try Excadrill, or you could try a different Water Fairy. There's a lot of teams that work out very well in this cup, so like don't be too worried about your team. Like, as long as it's a fairly balanced team, if you can get Azu into your team, that's pretty much a given. I think the really good thing about this cup is, no matter what team you're using, you can basically get away with it to some degree. Like, I see a lot of people running Wiggly in the back, like you could definitely just get away with that instead of one of these Pokemon. Like I said, if you don't have the Dragapult, you could try a different Astonish user. A lot of people have been using things like Shinotic, or Mawile even has Astonish, so there's definitely a lot of things you can try out and a lot of different options. I think most games come down to energy management, which is what I quite like about this cup. And of course making the correct decisions, learning how to play out of bad matchups, and that's kind of what we've done here with this Sandslash lead. I go straight into the Azu, this is how I decide to play it out. On the first case, I pause the tournament for the Play Rough. In other cases, I'm just over farming, trying to get an energy lead with my Dragapult. By the way guys, don't check your phone, that was me. I was getting a message, my wife is currently at the dentist here. So yeah, basically that's the key to Go Battle League, especially in limited metas. Whenever you're only seeing a limited amount of Pokemon, try to figure out a way to beat them. Dragapult lead, I didn't get this too often. When I did get it, I tried to catch it on Azu. They can't really make it to the Shadow Ball thereafter, I think. Oh, they actually do get a debuff, so they might make it. They bank a move and swap out into Sandslash. So I'll tell you what I've noticed over the last day or two. These battles are from like 1 or 2 days ago, like 2 days ago maybe. You're seeing a lot more Sandslash, definitely, but you're also seeing a lot more Registeel, and a lot more things that you would want Hydro Pump for. I think Hydro Pump is actually a good play on the Azu now. I'm seeing less Flygons, I'm seeing more, even like Wiggly, right? Having a Hydro Pump for the Wiggly is very nice, so definitely take it into consideration and consider putting on a Hydro Pump here. We come into Dugtrio, we slap this bad boy all the way down. The opponent brings in a Slapper of their own, that's perfectly fine, we'll go for a Mud Bomb. We have energy here, I can let my Dugtrio go down of course. Come into Azu, go for the Ice Beam right away. Thankfully no like free turn bring in or anything that stops me from getting that off. They come back into their Dragapult, and we have a Breaking Swipe banked. So that worked out very well, we had a move banked, and we were just kind of dodging around with energy a little bit, banked the Ice Beam, banked this, and that's what I really like about this cup. Your playstyle and what you're actually doing makes a big difference. Of course, in Open Great League, what you're doing makes a difference as well, but I really do like limited metas like this where the Pokemon are like somewhat glassier. Your energy management and the things that you're doing in the match really make a huge difference. In this matchup right here, what you're able to do I'm not sure if you can do it against non-shadow, but certainly against shadow you can 2-shield farm it all the way down. I do like to try and take a shield and try and go for a catch. They bring in Reggie, and as you can see, like if we had Hydro Pump, this would be a lot better for us. We could threaten 2 Hydro Pumps, which if the opponent's using a less optimal IV Reggie, 2 Hydro Pumps comes very close to knocking it out. Unfortunately, we have to go for play roughs here. Not a whole lot we can do in this case. I was very tempted to kind of try to get out of here. If they Focus Blast, I might swap out. I think I want to swap out. Yeah, I swap out bank all that energy. Come in here. I'm willing to shield. Oh, actually let this go. Interesting. They go for Zap Cannon. That does knock us out. I think I actually realized like I just have to put this all on the Dugtrio at this point. Even though they've got a Flygon, Dugtrio just slaps the absolute oblivion out of things. Back in comes Flygon in a second, and you're going to see here, super effective damage. Yeah, right, buddy. They actually go for the move, which is fair. We go for the Mud Slaps, and this is looking a little bit tricky. But if we can make it to 2 moves here, we might be fine. Can we put them into range for Azu to take them out? We get a CMP on the Mud Bomb. This will do heavy damage onto the Azu, but is it going to be enough to win this match? We look like we're in a very tricky position here. We've got a low health Azu here. They have 2 Pokemon alive. Unfortunately, I think we do lose this one. We're going to get off this play rough. It's not going to be quite enough here. We do make it to the next play rough. The question is, can we take out this Azu? And can we farm down the Flygon? We're super, super low. We do manage to take it out. Big shout out to my Azu. It's a rank 7, 0-14-15, I believe. In the next battle, we get an Azu lead. With Azu lead, you can play it a couple of different ways. You can either go to 5 and try to catch. You can go to 6 and try to catch. In this case, I went to 5. Opponents usually do like to throw the move right away because they can threaten to one-shot you basically. So they're pretty eager to get that move off usually. I'm going to overfarm here, make sure the opponent does not catch back. But the opponent actually stays in with the Azu. This could be like Azu Double Dragon, which could be quite good for me. I've got a ton of energy banked in Dragapult, and we're going to see what we can do here. We have a full health Dugtrio in the back, which does not want to see the Azu. So I'm just kind of hoping here, if we can get rid of the Azu, Dugtrio can just set up a sweep. The opponent finally comes into Giratina. We come into Dragapult immediately, go for the Breaking Swipe. We're going to go for 1 and Breaking Swipe once again. Just like that, the opponent's shields are going to vanish, and we're in a really good position now. The opponent actually decides to take the second move. I'm going to farm this the whole way down. The Azu's super low, and I'm expecting this to be Dragapult in the back. So I want to get the opponent's final shield. They come in with Azu. I'm going to just basically farm this down. And now it's basically all of these Pokemon versus the world. They've got a shield. They bring in Dragapult. I think we're fine here. We go for the Breaking Swipe right away. Do I bring in Dugtrio? I do bring in the Dugtrio, and I just start slapping this thing into oblivion. We catch the move in Azu, and Dugtrio is just going to clean this up at this point. Shadow Ball coming in, it doesn't quite knock me out. I was kind of getting a little bit scared here. Will the opponent make a move? We end up making the Ice Beam, and that's good games well played. A lot of people ask me why don't I use Hydro Pump. I've started using Hydro Pump on some of my newer teams. However, at this point, I found Ice Beam to be super useful. Just having a cheaper move really benefited me a few times. Weezing in the lead here. This is very awkward for me. I try to pause a turn, but then I end up lagging, and I end up just making a complete mess out of this. The opponent's got some free turns free here. They go for the Sludge, which of course is resisted. They could have Brutal Swing, and they of course would go for Overheat, which will do a lot. The opponent stays in to chip the Azu, and this is kind of where Ice Beam is really handy. Whenever you're up against something like G-Weezy or Flygon, which outpaces you quite a lot, Ice Beam can be super useful. They go for Sludge. The opponent goes for the catch on Bastiodon. Oh, where's my Hydro Pump? Where's my Hydro Pump? Where's my Hydro Pump? Alright, so we don't have Hydro Pump, this sucks, but we do have a Dugtrio. The opponent goes for the move here. I'm really happy with this. I was kind of trying to bait the opponent into throwing. We can come in with Dugtrio, slap this Basti the whole way down, get absolutely Bastiodon. The opponent concedes the match, and that's good games well played. I do have to be honest, Bastiodon in this cup is complete cope. It is complete cope. Anyway guys, we get a 5-0. Beautiful. This team worked really well for me, and I've not really seen this team a lot, so you definitely could give it a try. It's not a super common team. We get a Sandslash lead, they come into G-Weezy. Once again, this is where Ice Beam is benefiting us. We can of course look to one-shot them pretty much with Hydro Pump, but just having the faster move is so beneficial here. The bubbles add up enough where this basically gets the job done. Now Shadow can two-shot you, non-Shadow won't. I go for this move right away. I think they're one off the move here. The opponent tanks the Ice Beam and they look to get off another move here. I have a choice here. I might need to shield twice if I want swap, so I decide I'm going to let this go. We don't survive it, we come in with Dragapult, we get the farm down, they come into Sandslash, we come into this, and then they come into Turtonator. Oh no, is this... Are we cooked? What I'm thinking here actually is, we can get a shield, right? We get a shield off the opponent, we come into the Dragapult, I'll shield this, I'll farm this the whole way down. And the really cool thing about Dragapult is, it can be a Sandslash counter. Looking at this, right, they've got energy, they come in, they throw the Ice Punch. However, I'm going to make it to a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will just be absolutely sending Sonic back to Emerald Hill. It'll be sending Sonic back to Emerald Hill. Sonic does not take a Shadow Ball, so that's how I've been working it. I get a Sandslash lead with this team. I come into Azu, draw out something, get some energy with the Dragapult, and look to basically do some damage, get a farm down. They normally like chip it and bring in their own Azu, right? I go for a catch here, the opponent doesn't fall for it, they come in with Whimsicott. Another reason to have Ice Beam. Azu's going to be drawing out some grass type Pokemon at certain stages. We go for the Ice Beam, they can tank it. We can tank 2 Seed Bombs, so they have to throw 3 here, bang, easy tank. Of course you want a higher rank Azu if you want to tank any moves here. We can tank this, we can win the Zero Shield scenario, which is kind of funny. We'll go for Ice Beam, and I'm sure you can see what's sort of starting to develop here, right? We get off the shield, we come into this. I don't know if I like this play or not. We come in and go for Shadow Ball. I guess I am just kind of looking to get rid of it. The opponent double shields here. Okay, this is really good now. I'll shield this, it's a Moonblast, the opponent does not beat me. They come into Azu, they go for the move. I'm going to shield this as well. So, we're in an interesting position now. I can Shadow Ball here, it doesn't knock out. Does the opponent have another grass in the back? If they do have another grass, I kind of need the Dragapult. The opponent gets rid of the Azu, and I think we go for an aggressive farm down with Dugtrio. It's Dugtrio time, we get the energy lead. If they come in, oh, they come into this! Oh no, these Incinerators are ripping me to shreds. However, this Mud Bomb is going to absolutely obliterate Bowser. Bowser's getting sent back to the castle. I don't know where Bowser lives. I didn't really play that many Mario games when I was younger, but Bowser in the lead. We've got Dragapult. By the way, for any viewers here who are in your 20s and 30s, maybe late 20s, 30s or 40s, do you remember Recess? I don't know about you, but Dragapult reminds me of Randall. Let me know if you see that resemblance. It reminds me of Randall from Recess. I seen it the other day, I couldn't unsee it. It looks like Randall. So Azu here, they're in the red. Fun fact about Azu, if they're in the red, they die to a play rough. If they're in the yellow, they normally survive, unless the opponent's Azu is extremely attack weighted, and then they can one-shot you from the yellow, but typically you get them into the red and it knocks out. If you're in the yellow, you survive. Once again, another Whimsicott. Around this time, grass was getting super common. I've not really seen as much grass recently. If you're looking at this meta from today, what I've noticed a lot of is a lot of Wigglytuffs. We're seeing a lot more Sand Slashes in the lead and in the back. I actually started running double steel today because I've seen so many Wigglytuffs in the first set today. We're seeing like Charmers, Grambles, all that kind of bullshit in the back. They come into Toitnada once again, aka Bowser. I'm going to bring in Randall. Randall's going to get the job done here. Basically, if you're using a free turn versus a 5 turn, you want to throw in free ideally. I do free and throw here. I can 1 and throw the next one. I think the opponent realizes it's GG. They let it through the 2 shields. I could of course look to one-shot them with Dugtrio. I'm going to make it to 2 moves there. They're going to have no energy, and it's going to be game over. Lucario in the lead, definitely want to see it there. In comes this thing. I think I make a mistake not swapping out straight away, to be honest with you. However, Azu can deal with this, so I don't mind this necessarily. We bring in the Azu here at this stage. We look to farm all the way down. I decide to shield the Shadow Ball. 9 out of 10 times they'll go for the move there. Sometimes they'll bait you to try and debuff you, which is kind of annoying. They bring in this. I basically need to keep this away from my Dugtrio. If this goes on my Dugtrio, it could be curtains for me, unless they're super low health. Actually, the opponent does let it go, so definitely a good thing I went for the player off there. I'm going to shield this. The opponent goes for Thunder Punch. I'm figuring they're kind of weak to this in the back, and we're looking to be very, very good now. I figured it would either be Azu or something weak to Azu because they brought in the Lucario. I come into this, try to basically force the opponent to throw energy, and we can go about this a couple of different ways now. I can start slapping it into Oblivion, which is what I decide to do to get the opponent's final shield. I try to go for a CMP tie here. I might have got it there. Sorry, the gameplay's going so quickly I can barely see it. We do get a CMP tie, which is beautiful. The opponent could Zero Bubble, however, Mud Slaps are going to do so much damage that it's kind of not worth it for them. They probably will go for a catch here. Yeah, I'm going to go for the extra. They come into Lucario, get farmed all the way down, and that's good games. We get the Randall versus Azu here, the Mighty Mouse, as Jimmy Finn likes to call it. We're going to build up. Do we build up to 5? Oh, okay, so the opponent goes for the move immediately this time. This is perfectly fine. I'm going to overfarm. So you're getting to see the perspective of whenever you stay in with Dragapult, just shield the move, go for the Shadow Ball, maybe try to catch the second move. We do manage to get the second catch, which is perfect. And honestly, getting shields down for the Dugtrio and the thingy to sweep can be very, very good as well. The opponent comes into Firefang Mawile. Definitely not a good answer to Azu. Iron Head coming through, that does a lot of damage though, so maybe it is an answer to Azu. We get off a player off here. This won't quite knock them out, but it'll basically put them into bubble down range. I go for Ice Beam. We'll look to get rid of the Mawile. Mawile, I think, is Cope. Mawile, I think, is Cope. Cope while they come into their Dragapult, I come into my own. I've got energy here. We're hoping to get a debuff. We don't get a debuff there, but we get heavy, heavy damage through. I've got the Dugtrio. Come on, Dugtrio, farm this the whole way down. The opponent gets off a Dying Breaking Swipe. We should make the farm down, and we'll see if we can farm down the Azu or of course make it to the Mud Bomb. So look, ideally you do want to have 2 moves on this, but like having Mud Bomb is basically fine. If you think about it, like what do you need Iron Head for really? Like pure fairy types? You never really get into that many situations where you need Iron Head. Skarmory, I guess, you know, it resists Mud Bomb, but Iron Head's resisted as well, so you just go for Mud Bomb. There's not really that much you need the extra move for. Sadly, I did not get any Frustration BMs. The opponent goes for the move here in the Azu. Non-Shadow Drill, Excadrill, sorry, is nowhere near as good as the Shadow, I think. Shadow just is so oppressive. They go for double Drill Run, they bring in their own Azu. In that case, I think what the opponent should have done is banked one of them moves, right? Don't go for 2, go for 1 instead. The opponent actually brings in Dugtrio here, which is quite interesting. We'll bring in our own slapper here. We'll get the did I get denied there? I'm not too sure. We'll go for the slaps anyway. Yep, we'll basically farm it the whole way down. Back in comes Azu. My Dragapult's still healthy enough to make a move. If the opponent lets us go, it's going to do so much damage that I can just farm them down. We bring in the Dragapult here. We'll just about make it to the move. The Shadow Ball will be looking to knock them out, and that's going to be good games. By the way, guys, does anybody who has an iPhone, can you guys tell me, how do I disable like that screen movement thing where you like swirl your screen around? If you guys can let me know, I'd appreciate it. Sandslash lead, we come into the Azu, they come into the Empoleon. This would be a case for Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump allows you to basically bubble down a Shadow Empoleon. As you can see, that does a lot of damage. These bubbles are adding up. They can look to just about 2-shot me here. They of course did, and then got a little bit of fast move pressure on me, so that kind of helps them out here. But 2-player offs comes very close to knocking out Shadow Empoleon. I could look to take swap here if I wanted to. I actually do decide to take swap. Most of the time I don't do that, but I just kind of realize like if I can get my Mud Slapper on this, and especially because the opponent throws quickly, we can look to slap this the whole way down. They come into Flygon, we come into Dragapult. They're actually on Dragon Tail. This is kinda rough for me. I just need to commit to the farm down of Dugtrio. Come on, Dugtrio, your stupid wig-ass head. Come on, farm everything down. The opponent goes for a move here. This is absolutely huge for me. I don't think I was making this farm down. Had the opponent committed to fast moves, I think they would have won that battle, so good games well played there. Dragapult into G-Weezy, not what you want to see in the lead necessarily. The opponent goes straight for a Brutal Swing, which is kind of annoying as well. I'm going to try my best to get a shield off the opponent and then look to dip out, or try to go for some sort of a catch. We do get a catch on the Brutal Swing, which is beautiful. I done 2, paused the turn and then swapped out. We're going to look to go for the Ice Beam. You do always have to watch out for the catch. Like whenever you have something that you bring Azu into, I swear like 90% of the time they try to catch the move on their own Azu. So you have to be very careful. If you're going to throw Hydro Pump or Ice Beam, you have to be very careful. It's a little bit hard to describe to you, but I'm going to try my best, right? Whenever you throw in good timing against something, so if it's a free turn versus a 2-turn, you can throw the move on 1, 3, 5, 7, right? Let's say for example you want a 1 and throw. You can throw 1 bubble, and you can pause and make sure that you see the second Fairy Wind, second Shadow Claw, whatever it may be. So even if you're doing 1 and throw, or 3 and throw, you could do 3 and throw, and make sure that you see the 5th Shadow Claw or Fairy Wind coming through. You could do 7 and throw, make sure you see the, 8th come through. You can pause ever so slightly to make sure that you see the move coming through, and it does not give the opponent any extra turns. So that's something to always be conscious of. By the way here, I go for Shadow Ball, it does more damage. As you can see, it doesn't even knock them out. I just want to make sure the opponent doesn't get to a move. If you're in the 0 shield, go for a Shadow Ball. This is a good lead. The opponent swaps straight into Togetic of all things. This is kind of tricky for me to deal with. This thing basically walls my Dugtrio. Togetic is a really interesting option for this cup, however I just don't think the meta's too good for it. You can see that Dazzling Gleam almost 2-shots the Azu, so maybe it's doing pretty fine here. They'll have to double shield though, which I don't think is necessarily a big benefit to them. I'm like, yeah, okay, Dazzling Gleamy daddy, I don't care. We're gonna get off a second Ice Beam. Again, if we were in Hydro Pump, this match would be significantly worse. Not that you're gonna see this thing too often anyway. They do get off a last second move. I think they're just bulky, so I don't really want to take a second move. I end up throwing a Breaking Swipe here. I most likely could have farmed it down, but I got a little bit scared at the end, and we do take it out in 1 HP. Sometimes just that extra Astonish will do it. They come into Whimsicott, I get off the Shadow Ball immediately. We really need to get this energy off here because this is a huge problem for me. They come into Empoleon, I'm going to bring in the Dugtrio, we're going to start absolutely slapping this into oblivion, and this should be GG's at this point. I don't think the Whimsicott will make a move, we farm it all the way down, and that's going to be good games. We go for a Mud Bomb to finish it off, and that's GG's well played. So I think this is the biggest case for having Iron Head. I definitely have noticed that grass is a lot less common now, so you don't have to worry about it quite as much, but we get a free 2 in the final set here. We're ranked 19, 120 battles, 120 wins out of 185 battles. Very decent win percentage, around 60% or something. What do you think the ELO is going to be? Get your ELO predictions in the chat. Let me know what your ELO reveal was. I was pretty happy with it. I ended up tanking slightly with this team after and switching it up, but I will be showcasing a couple of other teams in the next day or two before this cup finishes. Of course, let me know what you're doing next week. Are you going to play Master League, Little Cup, or just pause out for a week? Drop a like in the video, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's have a look at the ELO reveal here. Rank 19 all the way up to 20. We start off in 2220, very respectable, and definitely super happy with it. Thank you very much for watching, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time.